Would you rather kiss Eddie on the lips or shake Hafthor's hand? Well, I guess I would. Have you ever felt not being the biggest guy in the room? Honestly, I don't think I ever really have. I mean, I've been around guys that are taller than I am, but definitely not heavier. You know, I mean, I've been around big guys before, obviously competing in strong meta, but I've never felt like, wow, I'm not the biggest guy in the room. Who's leaner, you or Eddie? Obviously, the last DEXA scan I did not prove it on paper, but I feel like from a eye comparison that I've definitely got Eddie beat right now. I don't know, maybe we'll have to get together and do some kind of fat test to kind of settle this once and for all, but who knows? I think right now, though, I am definitely leaner than he is. Love y'all's History Channel show and your YouTube videos. Definitely appreciate that. Thank you. Who is your Mount Rushmore / top 4 favorite strongmen of all time? That is that's a good question. I would say, you know, if you had to pick a Mount Rushmore of the top 4 strongmen of all time, I think that I am on there. I would say that Bill Kazmaier would be on there. Zydrunas Savickas would be on there. And then the fourth one, I think would have to go to Magnus for Magnuson. I mean, in the 90s, he was very dominant, competing in World's Strongest Man, won World's Strongest Man 3 years in a row, and was very, very technical about how he competed. So for me, I would put him up there as well. Steak or chicken? Honestly, I'm not sure this is even a real question, because what I would ask back to you is, have you ever seen a jack chicken? Probably not, so steak is gonna be the choice on that one. What's your favorite muscle group to work? Plus, when is a video with Eddie Hall next going to happen? So favorite muscle group to work, I mean, I don't really train specifically that way where I'm working on one specific muscle group, but as far as a training day, I would have to go with the back. So deadlifting and training my back would be one of my favorite training sessions to do. And then for a video with Eddie, I don't know exactly. I mean, we don't have something planned, but I would say hopefully soon, somewhere in the near future, we'll get together and do something and get back to having some more fun. How bad did you want to go full Hulk mode on Eddie when he smashed you in the face with a medicine ball? I'm not gonna lie, when that happened, that completely caught me off guard. And honestly, Eddie just has no aim with throwing a medicine ball. He didn't mean to do it. And I think you can tell from his reaction saying, sorry, Brian. Like that he was a little bit panicked that I was really pissed, which I was. So I definitely went after him. I hit him with the medicine ball. I hit Robert with the medicine ball, which was... I was on your side. Sorry, Robert, I didn't mean to do that. But, you know, I had to hold back a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I was definitely not pleased with being hit, but I knew that it was an accident as well. So, you know, the reaction I think that I had was good enough. You know, it kind of got the point across that I didn't like being hit, and that was enough. But yeah, I almost went full Hulk mode on him. But you know, at the end of the day, it's Eddie. You know, we obviously have a good relationship, and I know that he didn't do it on purpose. There is an article in M&F, I'm assuming Muscle and Fitness, that states you may be thinking of retirement, especially with the weight loss efforts that mimic Eddie Hall, who has retired from World's Strongest Man. Well, that is news to me. Are you retiring for World's Strongest Man after placing 6th this year? Also, what are your plans moving forward from this point? I don't know about that article. They never called me for any type of interview, so I can't really talk much about that. And if they're saying that, without talking to me, it's a little bit weird, I would say. But I'm definitely not retiring. You can go back on the channel, and I actually did a video kind of wrapping up World's Strongest Man and talking about what my future plans were, but retirement was not part of the plan at that point. So you can definitely go check out that video and kind of understand my perspective and why I decided to change my body a little bit. And it was simply to just be more competitive based on the way the sport of strongman, especially the Arnold Classic and World's Strongest Man, have gone away from the super heavy events and, done more kind of a little bit lighter moving events, that require a little bit more speed. So that's why I'm doing all that, to answer your question. And, hopefully if Muscle and Fitness is doing that article, or if they do anything in the future, I would hope that they would reach out to me before they write something like that. What's your favorite episode of Strongest Man in History / hardest challenge you did? Man, this is a tough one. We had a really good time filming a lot of the episodes, but if I had to pick one, I would say that probably going over to Scotland and being able to attempt the world record for a farmer's carry with the Dinnie stones was probably my personal favorite. I mean, that's something that I've literally wanted to do pretty much since I started lifting weights. So it was pretty surreal to go to Scotland to see the Dinnie stones in person, and then have the opportunity to carry them across the bridge and be able to set a new world record, without being able to specifically train for it. So that was a pretty surreal thing, and for me, probably my favorite feat of strength and episode that we did. What's the best way to build muscle when you have a very, very, very fast metabolism? Well, with this, I would say that your biggest challenge is going to be eating enough so that you can be in a caloric surplus for the day. So, eating frequently is going to be the best way to attack that. Instead of doing, a couple huge meals during the day, try to just get enough calories in, every couple hours, and almost force feed yourself is what I would say. If you want a really good example, go check out the 25,000 calorie challenge that I did, and just try to do that every single day. And there's no way that you will not gain weight if you do that. What are the most important tips for muscle recovery for the average person working out every day? Are cold tubs a necessity for better muscle growth? I would say the number one thing is going to be sleep. That is by far and away the best thing that you can do, when you're training for recovery. It's the number one priority for me as well. Of course, I do a ton of other things for recovery, but the top of the list is definitely sleep. So making sure that you get quality sleep. If you need to get a CPAP to sleep better, that is something that you should definitely look into and do. I don't know how big you are, but if you're having any trouble with breathing and not being able to get into kind of more of a deeper REM sleep, that's something you should definitely look into, making sure that you get at least 8 hours. Things like that are going to be huge. And from that then is where you want to build up recovery work. So, some active recovery is always going to be a good thing, kind of taking, walks during the day to recover, getting some blood in the muscle, that type of stuff. One of my favorites, as you know, and probably why you're asking, is doing a hot and cold, recovery bath. That's something I do a lot, and I personally feel great doing that. I'm lucky enough now that I can have the nice tubs to go back and forth. But for a long time, I literally only had a kind of livestock tank that I would have water, and I would just dump bags of ice in and jump into for recovery. So, you can do that on a budget, so to speak. I mean, that's not expensive at all to get something like that, but it's difficult to do. So, if it's something that you feel like you want to add in, you could give it a try, and doing it that way is certainly not very expensive, and you can try that. But as far as recovery goes, like I said, sleep is number one, and then, getting some type of, soft tissue work or working on yourself is going to be in line. The hot and cold treatments are going to be up there, but doing anything is gonna be a great start. So just kind of try to build from the sleep and then add on, of course, as you have time and as you start to make recovery more of a priority. Will you ever transition into more of a bodybuilder type of person when you retire, or stay the same size you are? When I'm done and retired, I think what I will do is I will cut down and probably get leaner. But I can't say that, as you say here, bodybuilder type of person. I can't say that I'll turn into like a bodybuilder type. I think, as far as training goes, I think I'm always going to train. I know I'll always train. I mean, that's going to be part of my life. Regardless of if I'm competing or not, I'll still need to go to the gym, and I'll still enjoy lifting heavier. So, I can't say that I'll go like fully into bodybuilding or anything like that, but I'll probably slim down and try to keep my weight down a little bit more and be a little bit leaner. Have you considered doing a powerlifting meet? What numbers do you think you could get? This is a question that's come up before, and I think I may have actually answered it. I don't remember, so we'll answer it again. But doing a powerlifting meet is something I would definitely consider doing at some point. I think that it would be very interesting for me to kind of find out what I could do if I specifically trained for just those 3 lifts and dropped out all the other, strongman training and stuff that I do. I'm not sure. I mean, it's something where I'm pretty confident that I could put up some big numbers, but I've never trained for a max squat, because that's something we've literally never had in strongman. It's always been, if we have a squat, it's a squat for reps. Deadlift, we train more for a maximum there, and bench for me is something that I'll throw in training. Definitely not all the time, but it's something mainly as an accessory movement that I'll do, and a lot of times I'll do it with a close grip. So I really don't know. I mean, I know, from some of the videos that I put out in training that I've done, I feel like my bench could be pretty good. Obviously, my deadlift, I think, would be fine for powerlifting, and I feel like I could probably do a pretty big squat number. So I don't want to say numbers. I don't want to speculate. I'm not one of those guys that likes to blow smoke, so to speak, without actually doing something. So all I'll say is I feel like my numbers would be good, but I would have to actually get into it and do it, and go to a contest, get in front of the judges and actually do the list before I would speculate too much about what I would be able to do.